In 1636, Harvard was founded. It was widely recognized as the first college to be established in the United States colonies. The focus of it was to teach and perpetuate Christianity, but there were other curriculum that were available. And this resonated with the graduating class of that first year. That other curriculum, theology, law, history, Latin, or Greek, what we today consider the liberal arts, resonated with this graduating class because it was fascinating and personal to one's own pursuit of higher education. Primarily, it was the elites in the area who were attending college, but this didn't mean that the middle and lower classes couldn't afford it. They actually could afford school. College, though, was perceived as a distraction to real-world skills and values. For example, mining, architecture, business, and medicine were all skills that weren't taught in college. So there was no perceived value in having one's child go to college when they could learn either in the family business or in an extended practice and learn experientially. Because of this, college was small, optional, and affordable. And because of this, there was mentorship and community. This provided an opportunity for growth and relationships, and it was starting to show results. Take, for example, the founding fathers of the United States: Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and George Washington. They were all college attendees. These founding fathers were symbols of success. They were heroes, and many people wanted to emulate this sort of success. So college became not just bigger, but stronger, because more and more people wanted to emulate this sort of success. And with college providing a hub for a younger community and teaching the liberal arts, college was providing a very positive and justified experience for young adults. The college in this era, then, was but one means of finding one's place in adult society and economy. And that's from John Thalen, who wrote A History of American Higher Education. So the perceived quote-unquote distraction of college was starting to pivot. So how did college go from this very small, nurturing community of mentorships and finding oneself, to this assembly line-esque city-sized network? Well, the primary answer lies just after World War II. In an effort to adjust World War II vets back into a normal, non-war world, the US government decided to create free college tuition for returning vets. This was extremely popular, and over 2 million plus vets enrolled in the program by 1950. Colleges began to realize that they were being reimbursed by the government, so advertising became a key component into enticing vets to go to college. And this was extremely successful. Enrollment doubled, even tripled only a few years after 1950. And since then, enrollment continued to escalate. And with tuition expenses becoming a measurement in quality, it was widely assumed that the more you paid for college, the better the quality of the school. This meant higher status, smarter person. Conversely, and something actually that we don't talk about, is no status meant no college, not a smart person. So more and more people were trying to take out loans so that they could keep up. And this was the result. Now, this is from The Week magazine. The US is drowning in student debt, so much so that it has surpassed credit card debt by $163 billion, totaling at $867 billion. And the cost of college tuition is spiking and has outpaced inflation. And this is becoming a crisis when it's compared to the median American household income. So let's take that college tuition and project that out to 2030. Public institutions for 1 year will cost $41,228, and private institutions will cost $130,428. And if you find that unnerving, this is the amount per second that America's total student debt load is increasing. So take that $867 billion total and have that increase by $2,853.88 per second. Now, the irony here is that college, something that's meant to help one's career, is now showing signs of hindering it, to the point where it could even cripple one's success, especially by 2030. So the GI Bill, college marketing, and cultural importance led to college as we see it today, this massive city-like entity with its networks of communities and sub-communities. We've now witnessed the evolution of the college industry, a staple in American culture. Now, instead of going into the family business or an extended practice and learning experientially like the pre-GI Bill educational system options, it's now widely assumed that people are going to college. Now it feels like the only way to even be successful is to go to college, because at this point, what else could you do? This was the situation that I faced when I was in high school, moving on to college. And at this point in time, many people wanted to go to college, so college became more and more competitive. Coincidentally, there was also a spike in something called ADHD. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, and it's known for symptoms that are generally disruptive to the classroom, such as fidgeting, constantly moving around, or generally being distracted, according to the CDC, or the Center for Disease Control. Approximately 11% of children have been diagnosed with ADHD as of 2011. Now, that percentage seems small, but that's actually 6.4 million kids. And the numbers are rising. From children ages 4 to 17, the rate at which ADHD diagnoses is increasing at a rate of 3% per year from 1997 to 2006, and has increased at a rate of 5% per year from 2006 to 2011. In 2006, I was one of them. I didn't fit in, I couldn't sit still, focusing was tough, math was, the only thing I knew how to do in math was spell it. I had a poor GPA and then was faced with this decision to go to college. So I didn't. Instead, I took a year off. I decided that I wanted to do something creative. So I went to design school, became a designer, and started making platforms and web applications. And as a passion project, I started redesigning an education system for the 21st century. I started by looking at some of the research. And as we can see today, so many people of every variety, ethnicity, religion, culture, etc., are aspiring to be a part of this system. But the system is so huge and so vast that it's bursting at the seams and standardizing people because it can't keep up with the sheer amount of people that are enrolled into the system. What's happening, and what happened with me, is that we're depending too much on the system, and the ones that don't fit in, there must be something wrong with them, when that's not actually the case. So I started to make some assessments. College, it isn't for everyone. College wasn't made for a career, but we're using it for one. College wasn't made for the 21st century, and its vastness also affects its slow incorporation of technology. College isn't looking at individuals anymore, it's looking at scores to compensate. So I started playing around with some designs. An education system for the 21st century. What would that look like? Well, profiles are aimed at the individual. So, like Facebook, it should be tailored to the individual. The system should integrate education with work and technology. Thus, it should connect people to people and companies, similar to LinkedIn. The system needs to respect all kinds of learning, passive, experiential, etc. It needs to be affordable. The system needs to provide incentive. It needs to enable choice, and it needs to show where those choices are. Finally, it needs to empower the individual with sight, being able to oversee one's options and make a decision based on a platform. That sight is true power. So I call the platform Vision. And that's where I'm at right now. It's meant for those who don't fit into the traditional education system. It's a vast system and an unfinished one, but that's okay because it's an idea that needs to be discussed. It's only meant to act as a vehicle for certain types of people. Hopefully someone will come along and create a system much different than mine, and that's okay because it'll work for those types of people. The point is that we are able to talk about such an incredible dilemma that's happening to our youth so that we are able to talk and develop a system by the time that they are college age. The goal of this is to promote discussion, so I'm releasing all of my designs online for you to critique, because it's up to us to learn from the past so that we can work together and shape the future. Thank you.